Hello everybody, Corey here. So let me start out by saying this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. I created a video earlier and posted it, which you've probably already seen, but it's just our very first video to start looking at numbers and stuff as far as starting to get closer for estimates for distribution. So I did the initial one today, sort of gave you my thoughts, spent a lot of time up front explaining everything and why doing things, and then after I got past the first few, then I was able to truck along down through there. I did make some notes of some changes or things that I might want to add this weekend, maybe. But also, I decided in the middle of that video, I had this great idea about, if other people want to do, their guesstimates on what it will be. So I'm providing a lot of data that we've previously talked about. So just to give you a whatever, if you haven't watched that video yet, of course. But sorry, I haven't been on this, so everything's trying to load and do different things. But anyway, providing a lot of data as far as previous distributions, the last distribution, implied volatility, estimating, which we've talked about this before, but about estimating, the distribution based on the implied volatility, and of course, then we've talked about. Oh, okay, I know why. It's the shares at the top. Now that's got me sidetracked. All right, sorry about that. So, sorry, I had to pause this to check, and it's just because the stuff's trying to download from the website, and now I'm off track. But previous distribution, the base it off the implied volatility just to give an estimate. Then we look at, well, what if we just use the short call premium that we earned for selling the call, and then we looked at, well, how did we do as far as if we're looking at the premium that we earned and also the amount that it cost us to close these out. So then we went over that as well, and then the estimated distribution range, and then sort of an average based on some of the data there. And then line 12 was sort of like, well, if I feel that the estimate, in my opinion, the estimate should be different, then I can enter that there. But this is a working document. Like I said, this will be the very first time, so I'm starting to build this, but I'm making sure I'm keeping the tickers together, so when we go through it, that you can see all of the data, for that one ticker here. So sort of like we've already talked about doing that. It's just on this sheet, it's mainly, right now, it's only the things that have to do with the distribution and looking at that. And then the bottom number down there was just sort of a difference on looking at the average versus the previous distribution. But again, I've made notes for it, and the only reason there's a bunch of NAs and stuff on this now is because the web page is trying to download all the holdings from the website and stuff, and it's not wanting to download it this second. And you can see that when we go here. So, but I already have the trades saved, thank goodness. The trades and holdings and stuff. So, sorry, something right here is throwing me off. So now let me look at something else. All right, there's no issue. Just checked on the computer, It's just because the trades and close out, which then reminded me we needed to go over some of these. So like AIYY, you saw 30 lines over there. There's 4. One of them got closed out completely, so you're not going to see it on the holdings because it's gone. But for a second there, I was wondering when I saw it why the shares didn't match up. But anyway, so we're going to go through the closed transactions over here. There are a few of them. I don't remember which tickers had completely closed things out or whatever versus just opening new positions. But this is normal because even though today's Wednesday, it's more like a Thursday trading week. So they'll start closing some of these positions out because what they didn't close out today, they'll close out tomorrow. So these are usually the longest videos. But you can see over here to the left, in case I forget, the total trades for these end up being negative 1.1 million for AIYY. But you can see that they've closed out. I usually have a thing to hide this data up there. But anyway, so we have the synthetic. Oh, all right. Let me keep scrolling. Maybe what I want to do is look at have the previous day's holdings up on my computer just so I can see what they held. I don't know. I'm guessing that a bunch of people must have sold out of this because we're closing out the synthetic position and the calls for 1,370 contracts. And of course, our regular synthetic is like 8,000 something. So this is telling me that people have, this is assumed, this is what Rod has stated before, that he assumes when something like this happens, people have sold out of the fund, therefore they have to close out of some of the positions. I don't know. I'm also looking over, well, this was yesterday. They had 6.8 million in cash and stuff, but that was yesterday. Oh, yeah, when I look at today's, which we'll see when we go over there, which I guess we could just go ahead and go over there, but we're negative. So that makes sense. So people must have sold out. But you can see over here, individually by those trades is a little hard when we have to zoom in so much. But because we were just talking that, we'll just go ahead and knock this one out and go over here. So you see AIYY, they closed at 14.85. AI closed at 27.26. So you can see here some of those closed, where they closed out some of those. And then, of course, they closed out of that one position altogether that had 280 contracts. But you can see here, and let me open this. So their money market account has 5 million, but they were negative 5.65 million for cash. So they ended up closing out those other positions, which then they ended up having to pay $1 million something. So yeah, I'm trying to do math there. I guess it's about somewhere around 700,000. But since we're here, let's finish this one out. So AIYY, sorry, I'll close that. They have 2 short calls that expire tomorrow, $28 and $28.50 strike prices. We are currently 3 and 4% below that at 27.26. So that's like what, 74 cents and $1.24. But you can see over here, if we had to close out the synthetic today, it would cost us $5.6 million to close it out because we are so far underneath that strike price. But we have about 3 weeks left on that. Let's go back over here and see what other positions had closed out positions. And then we can review all the new ones or whatever on the holdings tab, because you'll see those. Okay, so let's look at Nestle. So I haven't looked at these. I'm looking at these for the first time on the video. because I've been doing these spreadsheets for the last, I don't even know now, 6, 7 something hours since my daughter went to bed, which was actually late, around 9 or 10 o'clock. But yeah, I can't add, so it's like 5 hours. Anyway, they brought in 327,000 on these trades, and I'm gonna guess that they rolled all their short calls. Yes. So you can see the 3 with expiration dates. They all had strike prices of 640, and yep. So they rolled all of those to next Friday, but the strike prices have changed here. So we have the 630, 355. So half of them at 630, and half of them at the 627.50 strike price. And then since the links don't work over here, I don't guess, or on the iPad. Oh, there we go. Nope. Okay, awesome. Oh, crap. But this takes me to the holdings. Well, it took me to the wrong place. I don't need to be on this tab, sorry. Well, and I can't do anything. I guess maybe undo. All right. Sorry. I know I was going to scroll, and I haven't been going back and forth like that, but we started talking about the other holdings. So you can see here. So Netflix closed at 1922. Wow, that's interesting. The NAV is 1870. So 52 cents difference there. Anyway, Netflix closed at 613.53. You can see those 2 new short call lines. So we don't have any that will expire tomorrow now for Netflix, since those have been closed out, or Netflix. And you can see that we're 2 or 3% underneath the strike prices there. All right, let's see if we had... Okay, so we have NVIDIA here. So NVIDIA actually brought in $3.9 million for these trades. So they paid 8 cents to close out the previous contracts. They rolled them to next week, and that's where they brought that premium in at. So we talk about the short call premium. So since they rolled those short calls to next Friday, the strike price changed from $9.95 down to $940. I guess no confidence in NVIDIA now, or not as much. But anyway, so they rolled those down and out. And we'll just keep going here, see if there's any, because that was only like one trade. All right. And Ulti's in its own separate video. Okay, so then we'll go back over here and we'll just skip those 2 that we already covered. I hope y'all don't get sick like me from all that scrolling. I usually warn y'all. Sorry about that. Some of you may not have like sensitive stomachs though. But anyway, we're going to move on to AMDY. They closed at 20.53. AMD closed at 179.59. They added 70 contracts to the synthetic positions, and then they opened a new short call, bringing in 16,000 in premium that will expire next Friday at a 185 strike price. Now you can see they have a total of 4 short calls. 2 that expire tomorrow, or technically today because it's already March 28th, and then 2 that's next week, and they just so happen to be the same strikes. So my guess is today they're going to roll these to the same strike prices to these other two next week, but we will see. But that's where the majority of our short calls are right this minute. What was I looking at? The synthetic? Yeah, the synthetic looks bad, 10%, but we got 2 months. But you see, it would cost $11.25 million if we had to close those out today. If we move on to AMZ, it closed at $23.38. Amazon closed at $179.83. There are no trades to go over for here. Oh, I'm not zoomed in enough, am I? I'm sorry. They have one short call that will expire tomorrow. And it has a start price of $180. And we are 17 cents below that. But it's weird because it would have cost us 83 cents to close that out today. I don't understand options. That's one thing I don't really understand, but I guess that's that time, right? One more day. If we move on to Apple closed at $17.25. Apple closed at $173.31. No trades to go over here. One short call that expires tomorrow. We're currently below it by 1% or $1.69. It showed if we had closed that out at close today, it would cost us 22 cents. Maybe we can get it down to 1 or 2 cents today. Coney closed at $28.70. Coin closed at $256.70. They added 425 contracts to the synthetic and opened up a new position with that for 425 contracts, bringing in $200K in short call premium with the expiration date of next Friday and a strike price of $292.50. So they plan on coin going up next week. They also have a short call that expires tomorrow at the $267.50 strike. We're currently 4% below that. Of course, it shows if we'd have closed it out today, it would have been $2.7 million. But hopefully we won't have to pay much to close that out tomorrow. 14,000 contracts. Money, money, money. Dizzo closed at $22.53. Disney closed at $120.98. No trades to go over. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow. Strike price is $118, so we are $3 over the strike price. If we had to close those out today, or I guess now yesterday at the close, it would have cost $356,000 to do that. Phoebe closed at $22.95. Meta closed at $493.86. We have no trades to go over. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow with a strike price of $5.15, but we're currently 4% below that. And then we have a short call that expires next Friday with the strike price of $5.20, and we're currently 5% below that. If we go on to GUI, it closed at $17.16. Alphabet closed at $150.87. No trades to go over. Two short calls that expire tomorrow with strike prices of $152.50 and $155. This one would only cost 4 cents to close out today. Probably maybe only pay 1 cent tomorrow. All right, JPMO $21.78. JP Morgan $199.52. No trades to go over. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow at $200. We are currently 48 cents below that. Of course, we have I guess the price went up. Oh, that reminds me. I had done, okay, if you can't stand the scrolling, close your eyes. Yeah, it's not here. I had done yesterday. I'm going to scroll up on this page. Okay. I had done yesterday a possibility of doing changes to say yesterday, today, and the nav, and then under the underline say yesterday and today. That way we could see the price change if we wanted. I don't know that I had any comments that anybody even wanted to see that. I know I do it in the daily roundup. I guess I need to look at my count to see if anybody's even watching these trades and holdings videos anymore. Because if we're not, if we don't really have anybody wanting to see this data anymore, then I could stop doing them. Because I'm only want to do what y'all are wanting to see. But anyway, yeah, I forgot about that I had done that. But yeah, it was just an example though on one. So anyway, JPMO, we were here. Interesting that our short call for next week is 197.50. So I guess we must have went up. I don't know off the top of my head. But anyway, we're currently 1% below that. But it's only 30 contracts. Murney closed at 21.33. Moderna closed at 110.59. No trades to go over, but we do have a short call that expires tomorrow with a strike price of 109. So we are $1.59 above that strike price. If we move on to MSFO, they closed at 22.58. Microsoft 421.43. They added 30 contracts to the synthetic positions. And they opened up a new short call with the 30 contracts, bringing in $7,400 in premium, in short call premium, for an option expiring next Friday with a strike price of $425, and we're currently 1% under. We also have another one that expires next Friday with a strike price of $427.50, and we're 1% under. But we have two short calls that expire tomorrow with strike prices of $430 and $435, and we're currently 2 and 3% below those strike prices, and that's where most of our contracts are. Let me scroll over in case you want to see any of that data. Ooh, that one is only 3 cents if we'd closed it out today. Those are looking good, as long as Microsoft doesn't go up tomorrow, right? Misty, it closed at $44.90. That's like a record. MicroStrategy closed at $1,919.16. They added 22 contracts to the synthetic position. People buying in. Sorry, I was looking at the net assets. I wonder what's going to catch up to Coney. I assume it's a lot bigger, but I could be wrong. So they added 22 contracts to the synthetic. They created a new short call with the 22 contracts, bringing in $113,500 in premium. That short call expires next Friday, has a strike price of $23.50, which we're currently 18% below. We also have another short call that expires next Friday with a strike price of $21.30, and we're 10% below that. And then tomorrow we have two short calls that will expire. We have a strike price of $1,800, in which we're currently over by 7%, $119.16. So if we had to close that out at close today, it would have cost us $132 a contract or a share. So it would have been $2.5 million to close that out. Then we also have a short call with the strike price of $21.30, and it'll probably just be, it's only two contracts. Those will probably be rolled to the same strike price for next week, but we will see tomorrow. Netflix closed at $19.22. Netflix closed at $613.53. So we have two new. We already went over this one, so I'm not going to do it again. Sorry about that. I just remembered. NVIDIA closed at $29.30. NVIDIA closed at $902.50. So we have a new short call that we briefly went over, but expires next Friday. It has 3,725 contracts, so it was rolled for the one that was going to expire tomorrow, and they brought in $3.9 million in premium for that, and they're currently 4% under the strike price. The stock's currently 4% under. We also have the one for 150. We have a short call that will expire next Friday at $9.95 at strike price, and we're currently 9% below that. Hold on, I was looking. Oh, we have a bunch of money sitting in the money market, and we're negative 4.8 million there in cash. Okay, if we move on to OARC closed at 13.24. ARC closed at 50.11. No trades to go over. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow at $50.50. So we're currently 39 cents below that. If we move on to PayPay, it closed at 19.39. PayPal closed at 66.57. There's no short calls. No trades to go over. There's a short call that expires tomorrow with a strike price of $66. We're currently over that by 57 cents. This shows it closed today. If we would have had to close it, it would have cost us 77 cents a share or $155,000. We go on to SQY, it closed at 25.03. Block closed at 83.18. We have no trades to go over here. We do have a short call that expires tomorrow with a strike price of $84, and we are currently 1% below that. If we go on to Tesla, this shows we had no price change. Interesting. 16.20. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the NAV. I forget, not the price change on this one. Tesla is 179.83. No trades to go over, but we do have two short calls that expire tomorrow with strike prices of 172.50 and 175. And we are currently over both of those by 3 and 4%. So this is showing that if we had to close those short calls out today, it would have cost $28.7 million. So tomorrow, unless the Tesla stock goes down, they're going to end up having to pay to close those, and then they're going to have to close out some of the synthetic position to offset the cost for that 30 million, well, 28.7, whatever it's going to cost tomorrow. Unless the stock can go down tomorrow, speak it into an existence. Alright, so last one, Zomo, 1844, Exxon, 114.97. And then we have the short calls. We have two that expire tomorrow, 113 strike and a 114. Of course, we're over both of those, which seems to be the norm with Zomo. We're over one by a couple of dollars and the other one by $1. And then we also have strike prices, or short call for one next Friday with a strike price of 116. We're currently 1% below that. YieldMax closed at $20.49, and YieldMax closed at $21.64. I hope this was beneficial and is still beneficial for y'all. If not, let me know. I'm always trading and changing things up for whatever the needs everybody wants. But I appreciate y'all watching, and y'all have a great day. Bye.